Hello from Mindset Daily, wishing you a day full of health, peace, and happiness. Thank you for watching the Mindset Daily channel. Don't forget to like and subscribe to support us. Thank you so much.
Have you ever wondered why some people never rise above the level of their own thinking? What if the real battle isn't in your circumstances, but in your mind? And could it be that the greatest limits on your future are the thoughts you've agreed to believe? Most people don't realize this, but life will never rise higher than the level of your thoughts. You can pray, work hard, and dream big, but if your mind stays low, your life will follow. It's not because you lack opportunities or favor. It's because your thoughts have been trapped by years of wrong voices and false beliefs. God never designed you to live defeated or directionless. Yet when your mind is filled with fear, lies, and confusion, you can't walk in the freedom promised to you. Everything starts in the mind. Before someone fails, they first think failure. Before someone quits, they've already entertained the thought of giving up. And before someone settles for less, their thoughts have convinced them they aren't worthy of more. The real battle isn't out there, it's in your mind. You can't walk in peace with a mind full of chaos. You can't make wise decisions when your thinking is shaped by pressure and panic. You must train your thoughts to match the life you want. You can't feed on doubt and expect confidence. You can't keep rehearsing pain and expect joy. Many pray for a better life, but they're not preparing for it, not renewing their minds. They want promotion, but think like victims. They want breakthrough, but think like beggars. You can't walk in power if your thoughts agree with weakness. Your thinking will either open doors or keep them locked, move you forward or leave you stuck. If you want to change your life, you must first change your thoughts. The enemy isn't always after your job, your relationships, or your health. Often, he's after your mind. If he can plant lies in your thoughts, he doesn't need to control your life. You'll sabotage it yourself. He doesn't need chains when confusion works just as well. He doesn't need walls when he can use your past. He doesn't need to attack your body when weakening your mind will do. And when that happens, you stop dreaming. You stop believing. You start playing small, staying quiet, choosing safety. Not because you weren't made for more, but because at some point, you began thinking less of yourself. Maybe someone's words cut deep. Maybe failure whispered, "You'll never make it." Maybe betrayal convinced you that you'll never be enough. And before long, your life shrinks to the size of your thinking. But listen, you don't have to remain there. You're not a prisoner to those thoughts. You were made for more than fear, more than just survival. The first step is to think like someone already free, someone with purpose, someone who is already loved and chosen. You must learn to catch the lies and replace them with truth. Recognize the thoughts that drag you down and refuse to agree with them. Not every thought deserves a seat at your table. Some thoughts must be cast out. Others must be silenced. When you begin to think higher, your decisions change, your attitude shifts, and your focus sharpens. Transformation begins, not from the outside in, but from the inside out. Don't wait for your situation to improve before you change your thinking. Think differently now, and your situation will begin to change. Don't wait for approval before believing in yourself. Decide today that your worth isn't determined by others. It comes from truth. Don't wait for fear to disappear before you move forward. Step forward despite fear, with a renewed mind that declares, "I am not who I used to be. I don't think the way I used to think." You are being made new, and you won't live beneath the level you were created for. It doesn't matter how broken your past was, what your upbringing lacked, or who failed to believe in you. You can choose to think differently today. You can begin renewing your mind right now. Your future doesn't have to mirror your past. You are not your mistakes, your trauma, or your fears. You are who God says you are. And when you begin thinking from that place, everything around you will shift, slowly but surely. Correct thinking is not just positivity. It is truth, it is power, and it is alignment with the life you were always meant to live. So if your life feels stuck, start by checking your thoughts. If your joy has been fading, look at your thoughts. Because when your thinking changes, your whole life changes too. Wrong thinking never appears on its own, it has roots. And most often, those roots are buried in a broken identity. Every day, people walk around carrying low, negative, and fearful thoughts. Not because they were born with them, but because somewhere along the way, life told them a lie about who they were. Maybe it happened in childhood, when someone said you'd never amount to anything. Maybe it came after failure, when everything you built collapsed and you began to believe you were the collapse. Or maybe it came through rejection, when you gave your heart and it was mishandled, leaving you to replay the lie, "I must not be worthy." If the enemy can distort your identity, he can destroy your thinking. The moment you forget who you truly are, you start settling for things never meant for you. You begin to live beneath your purpose. You shrink, not because you have to, but because you believe you deserve less. And once that lie takes root, your thoughts will echo it. You'll think in limitation, in insecurity, in survival. Not because it's your nature, but because it's the fruit of a fractured view of self. That's why so many try to change their life, but end up repeating the same patterns. You can change cities, careers, even relationships, but if your identity stays broken, your thoughts stay broken. And your thoughts will attract what you think you deserve. They will chase only what you believe you're allowed to have. They will reject anything that looks like healing. If your mind has been programmed to expect pain, hear this: what happened to you is not who you are. What you lost is not your identity. What people said about you is not your truth. And if you're going to think correctly, if you're going to live fully, you must go back and uproot those lies. You have to confront the identity crisis that has quietly shaped so many of your decisions. Wanting better is not enough. You must believe you were made for better. If you don't think you're worthy of peace, your mind will always chase conflict. If you don't believe you're worthy of love, your thoughts will sabotage anything healthy. And if you doubt that you're chosen, your mind will talk you out of every divine opportunity. So how do you fix it? You start with truth. Remind yourself daily of who you are in God's eyes, not in the mirror of the world. The world will define you by your worst day, but God defines you by His design. The world may label you by your past, but God calls you by your purpose. The world uses shame to silence, but God uses grace to restore. And the more you identify with truth, the more your thoughts begin to reflect it. You'll start thinking with confidence instead of pride, making decisions from worth instead of desperation. You'll stop clinging to what breaks you and start pursuing what builds you. Because your thoughts are no longer rooted in fear. They are grounded in true identity. Not the one the world gave you, but the one God placed in you before anyone had the chance to mislabel you. Don't let pain define you. Don't let failure name you. Don't let betrayal or fear dictate who you are. You've already been named. You've already been chosen. When that identity takes root in your heart, your thinking shifts. You'll stop saying, "I can't," and start declaring, "With God, I can." You'll stop believing, "This is who I'll always be," and start affirming, "This is only where I'm passing through." You'll stop accepting defeat and begin walking in quiet authority, not because life got easier, but because your thinking grew stronger. So many people wait for the world to treat them better before they think better. But that's not how transformation works. You think better first, and then your world begins to align with those thoughts. That's where true healing begins, not when things change around you, but when you remember who you really are. You are not broken beyond repair. You are not lost beyond reach. You are not unworthy of good things. You are not too late, not forgotten, not a mistake. When this truth becomes the foundation of your identity, everything changes. You begin thinking like someone free, walking like someone restored, and living like someone who finally knows the truth. That is how you learn to think correctly, by remembering who you truly are. Because what you focus on grows. And that simple truth carries tremendous power. Every thought you choose to entertain is like planting a seed in the garden of your mind. When you feed those seeds with faith, hope, and truth, you reap strength, courage, and peace. But if you nourish them with doubt, fear, and negativity, your life will be choked with weeds of discouragement and despair. That's why the diet of your mind matters so much. What you allow inside, what you watch, what you listen to, what you say to yourself, all of it shapes your thoughts, and your thoughts shape your life. Too many people treat their minds like a dumping ground, letting every message, image, or word settle inside without guarding the gate. But your mind is not a place for garbage. It is a sacred space given by God where your future can be built or broken. If you want to think correctly, you must be intentional about what you let in. Starve the distractions and feed the direction. Ask yourself, how often do you repeat negative phrases like, "I'm not good enough," "I'll never make it," or "This is just who I am"? Those words don't come from nowhere. They come from what you've fed your mind over time. And if lies are what you continue to feed it, your life will reflect them. But if you begin to nourish your mind with truth, with words like, I am capable, I am chosen, I can overcome, then slowly those truths will take root, and your life will begin to change. Of course, it's not always easy to change your focus. Our world is full of distractions and negativity. Each day the news, social media, conversations, and even your own fears try to drag your thoughts toward worry and despair. But here's the truth. You still have a choice. You don't have to let those things control your thoughts. You can decide what you feed your mind. You can choose to turn off the noise that drags you down and open the door to peace and strength. Remember, the enemy aims to fill your mind with lies so you'll doubt yourself, give up, and stop pursuing your purpose. But when you guard your mind and carefully decide what to focus on, you are fighting back. You are declaring that you will not be a victim of circumstances or bad news. You are telling yourself that your life is worth hope and your mind is worth protecting. One of the most powerful ways to feed your mind correctly is through the words you speak. Every word has the power to build you up or tear you down. If you catch yourself speaking negatively about your future or yourself, stop immediately. Change your words. Speak life. Speak truth. Your words will either strengthen your faith or weaken it. They will open doors or close them. They will plant seeds of hope or weeds of doubt. Surround yourself with sources that pour truth and encouragement into your mind. Whether it's good books, uplifting conversations, positive music, or a community that believes in your growth. If you constantly allow influences that drag your thoughts downward, it will be hard to think correctly. But if you surround yourself with what lifts you higher, your thoughts will align with a greater vision. Of course, there will still be times when fear and doubt try to slip in. That is normal. The mind is a battlefield, and it takes discipline to keep it focused. The good news is that with practice, the right thoughts will come more naturally. The more you feed your mind with truth, the easier it becomes to reject lies. The more you focus on what builds you up, the less power negativity holds over you. Never underestimate the power of your mind's diet. What you watch, what you listen to, and what you say to yourself all matter. They shape your beliefs, your choices, your habits, and ultimately your destiny. If you want to think correctly, you must protect your mind from poison and feed it with life-giving truth. This discipline is not about ignoring reality or pretending everything is perfect. It's about choosing to focus on what is true and good, even in the middle of challenges. It's about training your mind to see possibilities when others see obstacles. It's about speaking words of hope when others whisper defeat. It's about believing your future can be better than your past because your thoughts are changing. Remember, your mind is a garden. It can grow weeds or it can grow flowers. What you choose to plant, water, and nurture is up to you. Feed your mind with faith, with hope, with truth, and watch your life bloom in ways you never imagined. Doubt, however, is the silent killer of purpose. It sneaks in quietly, unannounced, and before you know it, it has taken root deep in your mind. At first, you might not even notice, just a small question here, a little hesitation there. But that small seed grows quickly. Doubt is not just uncertainty. It is the thief that steals vision, the enemy that paralyzes faith, the voice that insists you're not enough. It whispers, this won't work, or you're bound to fail. And it's deadly because it doesn't only attack your confidence, it strikes at your destiny. Many never fulfill their God-given purpose because they let doubt control their thinking. They hear the calling, but instead of stepping forward, they step back. They dream, but instead of pursuing those dreams, they hold back because doubt shouts louder than faith. They stand at the crossroads, but doubt convinces them to take the safe road, the easy road, the road that leads to regret. Doubt doesn't care about your future. It only wants to keep you stuck in fear, confusion, and hesitation. But here is the truth you must hold on to today. Doubt is not your final authority. It is a lie disguised as a question, a challenge rather than a verdict, an obstacle but never a destination. You were created for more than doubt. You were created for purpose, for victory, and for fulfillment. And if you want to think correctly, you must take authority over doubt. That means refusing to let it rule your mind. It means recognizing doubt for what it is, a voice that threatens your hope and steals your peace. You don't have to listen. You don't have to agree. You don't have to let it control your thoughts or actions. Instead, you must speak louder truths. Truths about your worth, your calling, and your power to overcome. Doubt can sound convincing because it uses your fears against you. It whispers, what if you fail? What if you're not ready? What if you're alone? But faith answers, I am ready because God has equipped me. I am not alone because God walks with me. Failure is not the end, but a stepping stone. Doubt paralyzes, but faith propels. Doubt makes you small, but faith makes you mighty. Many people want to move forward, yet the fear of failure keeps them frozen. I understand that fear. It is natural to feel afraid when stepping into the unknown, when reaching for a dream that feels bigger than yourself. But fear and doubt do not have to be your masters. You can face them, confront them, and overcome them with a mind anchored in faith and purpose. It takes practice to silence doubt. It takes courage to reject the voice that says you can't. The more you refuse to feed doubt with attention and agreement, the more you starve it of power. The more you focus on truth, the less doubt can take root. The more you declare who you are and what you are called to do, the less space doubt has to live in your mind. And always remember, doubt often disguises itself as caution or wisdom. Sometimes what we call realistic is really resignation. Realism looks at obstacles and says, I can overcome. Resignation says, I can't. Don't mistake doubt for wisdom. Doubt is the enemy's tool to keep you small. Wisdom is God's gift to help you walk boldly. When doubt creeps in, remind yourself you are stronger than fear, more than your failures, created with a purpose no doubt can destroy. Hold that truth. Speak it until it becomes the foundation of your thoughts. You don't have to let doubt define your future, and you don't have to wait for it to disappear. It may not. You can walk forward without letting doubt control you. Step out in faith even when you feel uncertain, knowing faith is stronger than fear and your purpose is greater than your doubts. Take charge of your thoughts. Name doubt for what it is, and refuse it a place in your mind. Replace doubt with truth, hesitation with action, fear with faith. Let your mind be a home for courage, hope, and purpose. A mind that moves forward because your destiny depends on it. You were made to live beyond doubt, to overcome. Your journey won't be stopped by a whisper of fear. Choose faith. Choose courage. Choose to think correctly. And remember, correct thinking demands discipline. Wanting to think rightly isn't enough. You must be intentional, consistent, and determined, training your thoughts like a muscle. Just as the body needs exercise to grow strong, the mind needs discipline to become focused and resilient. Without discipline, your thoughts wander. They scatter, get distracted, and become vulnerable to every storm that blows through your life. Many people suffer because they let their thoughts run wild, unchecked, unmanaged, and undisciplined. They allow fear, doubt, and distraction to shape the narrative in their minds, then wonder why life feels out of control. But here's the truth. You are the gatekeeper of your mind. You are responsible for what you think, what you believe, and what you allow to remain. If you don't take control of your thoughts, something else, or someone else, well, discipline means choosing what to dwell on. It means saying no to negative voices, to lies, and to daily distractions. It means setting firm boundaries around your mental space and protecting it fiercely. It's about forming a habit of focusing on what builds you up and releasing what tears you down. This requires effort, and it takes courage. It's a daily decision to say, I will not be led astray by my thoughts. Think about the times when your mind was most peaceful and clear. Those moments didn't happen by accident. They came because you were focused, disciplined, and intentional. You refused to let every random thought claim space in your heart. That is the power of discipline. It frees your mind from chaos and leads it toward clarity. Discipline also teaches you to pause before reacting. Too often, we respond to every thought that crosses our mind without asking if it's true or helpful. That's why anxiety, anger, and confusion take hold so easily. But when you practice mental discipline, you learn to pause, evaluate, and choose your response. You create space between the thought and the action. And in that space lies your power to decide how you want to think, feel, and live. It's like a farmer tending his field. He doesn't allow weeds to grow among his crops. He pulls the weeds out as soon as they appear and waters the good plants so they can thrive. In the same way, your mind is a field. Discipline is the act of removing negativity, doubt, and distraction before they take over. It is the act of watering the seeds of faith, hope, and truth so they grow strong. Discipline is not about harshness or self-criticism. It's about love. Love for yourself, love for your future, and love for the purpose God placed in your heart. When you discipline your mind, you are declaring, I value the life God has given me enough to protect it. You are saying, I will not allow my thoughts to betray the vision within me. You are choosing to honor the calling on your life by guarding your mental well-being. And remember, discipline is a journey, not a destination. There will be days when your mind feels scattered, when weeds seem to grow faster than you can pull them. There will be moments when you want to give up, when old patterns try to drag you back. But don't be discouraged. Each time you choose discipline and redirect your thoughts, you strengthen your mind. You build resilience. You prepare yourself for greater challenges and greater blessings ahead. One practical way to develop mental discipline is through routine. Establish habits that support right thinking. Begin your day with gratitude, read something uplifting, or take a few deep breaths before making decisions. These small, daily actions train your mind to seek peace and clarity instead of chaos and confusion. Another key to discipline is learning to say no. No to negative influences. Say no to distractions that waste your time and energy. Say no to thoughts that don't serve your purpose. Saying no isn't about shutting the world out. It's about creating space for what truly matters. It's about protecting your mind from unnecessary clutter so the thoughts aligned with your purpose can shine through. Discipline also teaches patience. Thinking correctly doesn't happen overnight. It's a lifelong commitment to training your mind, shaping your habits, and renewing your focus. Sometimes it means walking through difficult seasons with faith that discipline will bear fruit in time. Even the strongest oak tree began as a small seed, nurtured patiently until it grew. So discipline your mind. Make it a daily priority. Be intentional about what you think, what you say, and what you listen to. Guard your mind like the precious gift it is, because it is the gateway to your life. Your thoughts shape your actions. Your actions form your habits. And your habits build your future. When you commit to mental discipline, you are saying yes to clarity, peace, and purpose. You are saying no to confusion, fear, and defeat. You are choosing to think correctly, and that choice changes everything. Remember this truth. A disciplined mind is a powerful mind. And a powerful mind changes lives, not only your own, but also the lives of those around you. One of the greatest lessons in learning how to think correctly is realizing that your thoughts carry far more power than you imagine. They shape your emotions, influence your decisions, and carve the path your life will follow. But here's what many overlook. Your thoughts don't just affect you. They affect everyone around you. The power of your thinking extends beyond your mind, touching your relationships, your community, and even your destiny. You may think your thoughts are private, living only in your head. The truth is, what you think becomes what you say, what you do, and how you treat others. Your thoughts plant seeds that grow into actions, habits, and character. If you think negatively, you will act negatively. If you think defeat, you will live defeated. But if you think hope, you will inspire hope in others. If you think courage, you will radiate strength and boldness. The way you think influences everything: your work, your family, your friends, even strangers you meet. Think of the ripple effect in a pond. Drop a stone into the water, and the ripples spread far and wide. Your thoughts are like that stone. They create ripples that reach every part of your life. When you think rightly, those ripples bring peace, joy, and encouragement not only to yourself, but also to everyone you encounter. But when your thoughts are filled with bitterness, anger, or fear, those ripples spread harm and confusion. That's why controlling your thoughts is not only a personal benefit, it's a responsibility. Your mind is the foundation of your influence in the world. When it is clear, disciplined, and full of truth, you become a source of light and strength for others. Your thoughts turn into a beacon that draws people toward hope and healing. We are all leaders in some way. Whether you realize it or not, people watch how you think and respond. They notice how you handle challenges, how you speak about others, and how you carry yourself. Your thoughts show in your attitude, and your attitude shapes the atmosphere around you. When your mind is filled with faith and confidence, you inspire the same in those near you. When your mind is clouded with doubt and fear, you pass that uncertainty on. And it's not just about what you think in the moment. It's about the legacy of your thoughts. The way you think today shapes the environment your children grow up in, the the community you build, and the culture you help create. Your thinking can either lift up or tear down. It can build bridges or raise walls. It can create hope or spread despair. You may wonder, how can private thoughts have such a big impact? Because thoughts lead to words. Words lead to actions. Actions shape character, and character determines destiny. And destiny always reaches beyond you. That is why every mind matters. Every thought counts. To think correctly is to embrace the power you carry and use it with wisdom. It's recognizing that your mind is not only a personal treasure, but also a tool given for the good of others. It means choosing to fill your mind with things that build people up rather than tear them down. It means choosing to think in ways that promote peace, kindness, and strength. This understanding should move you to guard your mind with care. Protect it from bitterness, anger, and negativity, because those thoughts don't only harm you. They harm your relationships, your community, and your future. Instead, cultivate thoughts of compassion, forgiveness, and hope. Think about how your thoughts can become a blessing, a source of healing and encouragement. And yes, this isn't always easy. The world is full of voices trying to pull your mind away from truth and love. But the more you practice thinking correctly, the more natural it becomes. The more you discipline your mind, the more your thoughts reflect the best version of you, a person of peace, strength, and purpose. Your thoughts are seeds of influence. Plant good seeds, water them daily with faith and truth, and watch the harvest come. Your life will be transformed, and so will the lives of those you touch. This is both the responsibility and the privilege of thinking correctly, not just for yourself, but for the world that looks to you for hope and light. Choose your thoughts wisely, for they carry the power to shape not only your destiny, but also the destiny of many. And with that, remember this truth: the power to change your world begins in your mind. Wishing you health, happiness, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel, Mindset Daily.